Hello and welcome if you are a first-time viewer to our channel, or welcome back if you are a returning viewer. I am Stacey from Lee and Stacey Do Finance, and today I am going through the last of the October funding in our goal to budgeting a month in advance, and then we are going to do some cleanup in the month of September, and I think we will also have a little bit of money to allocate to our wish list and our extra debt payment. So I'm a bit excited about that. So let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing that I am going to do is go ahead and clean up the month of September. Right now it's showing that we have $1,816.23 available to budget, but once we go into October, it's giving us a bit less because we have some red categories and some overspending. So we'll go through those first, so that way this bumps up to the correct amount, and then we can allocate out the rest of the money that we need for the month of October. So back in September, the first line item that we see that is red is the mortgage. I made an extra payment of $63.15 because our mortgage company reached out and said, hey, our estimates for your escrow were not high enough, so we're going to have to raise up your payments, and you can either send us a check or we'll just add it on to next year's payments. I'd rather just get it over with and not increase our payments by as much every month. So I just went ahead and made that payment. But for future months, I will be budgeting $540 instead of $530 to account for the increase in taxes that we've had. So hopefully next year we'll be all set. There'll be enough extra money going there that we won't have to actually bump up. They wanted to bump it up by like $8, and my rounding was not quite that high. Which is why I'm going up another $10. It hopefully will give us a couple of years, but we'll see. So for the $63.15, I think we're just going to pull that from toiletries and consumables. We hardly ever reach the max amount for spending, so we're just going to go ahead and take that right out of there. I don't expect us over the next 2 weeks to actually end up using that much money for those categories. There's only so many cleaning supplies and rolls of paper towels that someone would need. So we should be able to get by just fine with $73.39 in that category. So that has corrected our mortgage, and we'll move on down. Animals, again, thanks to Suki and us buying things for her, some of which were unexpected. We're spending a bit more money, and she is a bigger dog than what we had before, so I think our estimates are going to be wrong as far as keeping it at $50. That was fine with our cat and our smaller dog, but with Suki and our cat, I think we're going to end up going up in future months. Not quite sure what I want. I kind of want that to average out before I really adjust that. But for that, we're just going to take some money from miscellaneous purchases, because that's kind of our catch-all for what we didn't budget for, or plan for at least, and just put that money in from there at this point, because it's kind of what it would go into otherwise anyway. So we'll clean that up there. And then we went out and bought a sink, and it wasn't at the same store we were planning on purchasing it from, because Suki has been dealing with some anxiety when we leave the house. We've been trying not to go out any longer than we really need to, just to kind of minimize her stress level. So the store that we wanted to purchase the sink from originally is about 45 minutes drive away from us. And then of course you have the shopping, and then the 45 minutes back. We really didn't want to do that, so we went to a local store, found a similar sink that would meet our needs, but it was $50 more than what we anticipated, which is absolutely fine. That $50 is worth it for us to not stress out our new dog. So we just went ahead and made that purchase. So we're going to take that $51.74 from the cabinets and hardware. It's all part of the kitchen remodel. The convenience factor of that purchase was $50 basically. So we are perfectly okay with that for the time being. And so we will move that. And that means the kitchen remodel sink portion is done. We have the sink. We might need some fittings and stuff later on. We'll just handle those as they come because we might not need anything. So we don't really know what we're planning for at that point. So we're just going to move this category out once we reach the end of the month. So we're going to put a little check mark there because it is done. And we'll move it here because those are the categories that we will be able to remove at the end of the month. There were also a couple of other changes to the wish list that I'll get into now since I'm already in the category. I think the big one is the goal for Suki's initial expenses. If you remember, that was a goal of $1,200 originally. That has been bumped down to $800 because there are certain things like taking her to a groomer that we decided that we aren't going to do. We've been able to brush out a lot of the mats and stuff on her, and we don't want to stress her out. She isn't very comfortable with like new places and people for a little while. It takes her a while to get acclimated, and we don't want to stress her out more than we need to. Her hair is looking much better than it was when we got her, so I think we're good on that front. So with some of those changes that we were able to adjust, we did bump it down $400, and we only need $350 left for the remaining goals, which are probably a little bit small on this screen. See if I can increase that a little bit. Hopefully that's better for you. So we still have getting her spayed and microchipping, which will be happening. The microchipping will happen in about 2 weeks, and then the spay will be whenever they can get an appointment for her at the vet. So that's all that's remaining on that. Everything else will either be coming from a separate line item, or it will be coming out of animals or some other category, whatever applies best. And I thought we had added another category, but I'm not seeing it, so I'm going to re-add it. And we are going to do obedience training for her. We're going to set aside $200 to do that. I know one of our local vets does obedience training classes, and it's like $120 for 6 weeks. But again, because she's not very comfortable with people and new places and other dogs and cars and a whole bunch of other things, we want to do some private lessons first to really kind of get some of the basics, so that way she can at least respond to us and kind of ignore some of the other things, or at least be responsive when we're worried about her safety or the safety of someone or something else. So we're going to do that. Hopefully $200 would be adequate for that. And that would probably be up next after her vet visits. So that's where we stand on the wish list for now. So since September's nice and cleaned up again, we are going to go into October and budget out our money. So it looks like we had stopped at toiletries and consumables. So we are going to go ahead and just do the underfunded amount. So that gives us $150 in there. $180 for transportation, which is gas for our cars and potentially oil changes, things like that. Car insurance, I did just receive a letter from our insurance company because of some changes that were made in the state of Michigan with the way the insurance rates are. They're kind of discounting things if you change levels. with options that didn't exist previously. I think we're going to try to stay with the same levels, but that should go down a little bit anyway. But it'll be a couple of months before our insurance renews and I can actually see what the difference is, but I don't expect that to go up, so we're just going to leave it as is for now. Car registration is $30. Rhode Island visits gets $50. Auto repair and maintenance gets $20. And again, we're not really funding any car replacement at this point because we still have loans on our 2 cars and they're both quite new. We've only had them for about a year now, so they should hold out for us for a long time. So it's just basic maintenance and repairs. Home repairs and maintenance is $60. Miscellaneous purchases gets $200. Subscriptions gets $16. Animals currently gets $50, and again, we'll kind of see how that plays out. Health doesn't get anything because that's funded through our health savings account, which comes out of Lee's paychecks. Lee will get $50 for his personal spending. School will get $150. We're going to go with $155 because it's a little bit under where it's supposed to be, so that'll get us there a little bit faster. It's normally $150. Let's see, for my account, it will get $50. Dining is going to get $150, though we are trying to cut down on that. We'll see how successful we are. We might end up pulling that money out for the month of October just to hold ourselves accountable. We will see on that one. Hobbies doesn't get anything. Fitness will get $15. Entertainment doesn't get anything. Clothing needs to go up to the $600. We spent some money this month, so I'm going to do what we spent. That should bump it back to $600, so we're good there. And I don't think we're going to be spending any more in September, so that should keep us good. Gifts will get $10. Lee and Stacey do things, and stuff I forgot to budget for do not get anything. So that leaves us with $425.16, which is not a lot, but it is gonna move us forward on our goals. So I'm happy that we have something to push forward. And we have reached the end of our funding period for the month of October. So our next paychecks will go towards funding November. So this is the end here. So I'm glad we do have some money left over. Okay, so we are going to split the $425.16 in half. So we are going to add $212.58 to our car payment. So I will probably schedule that up today. And then we are going down to the wish lists. And again, because 200 is not really a huge amount of money, we're not going to get very far on our goals because they're pretty big goals for the most part. Almost everything's over $100, so it makes it a little bit trickier to fund them. So we are going to add that to Suki's expenses because we know that's coming up. So that would leave us with $157.48 that we would need to still budget for her appointments. And because our next paycheck's going to fund November, I don't think we're going to fund that in time, so it's probably going to end up coming out of the kitchen remodel or some other category. But we will get there when we actually get there. I think all we actually need is like $50 for the next appointment, so we should be well covered. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself here. Okay, thinking it through, I don't think I went back and added the extra $10 for the mortgage, did I? Oh, it looks like I already did that. Okay, perfect. Didn't think I did. So in that case, we should be good for the month of October. I will make the extra car payment and we'll just continue on with the month. All right, so I think that's it for this week's budgeting adventure. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you next time. Bye.